Bubba Chandler, welcome to Steak on a Stone. All right, tell me your first impression here, Steak on a Stone at North Shore Tavern. I know you haven't been here before, so Are you feeling good about this experience?
Yeah, the atmosphere's cool. I'm kind of sweating a little bit. It's hot, but I really want to touch the plate, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, let's keep that throwing hand safe. Let's not try to sue me here. All right, cut into it, have fun, enjoy the experience. How do you like your steak cooked?
Medium rare.
All right. Is this typically the stuff you would eat on a game day? What's your favorite go-to like meals and meats?
I like peanut butter. It's like really a lot of PB&Js on game day. If my girlfriend is in town, I don't do that. So I resort to just whatever the team has that day. But yeah, you know, that's about it. I normally don't eat steak, but I like to carb load. Yeah, that's about it.
But you grew up in Georgia on a essentially a lot of property, kind of a farm, had some animals, things like that. I know you're an outdoorsman, so you can appreciate a good steak, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right, so you'll have to let us know as we go if this is worthy of your taste buds. We're gonna let the fans get to know you a little bit here, Bubba.
All right.
And I think growing up in Georgia, it's just, you know, you are who you are through and through. So tell me what it was like growing up at the Chandler house. Give me a little bit about your background growing up.
A lot of competitiveness. Both my older sisters, I guess my parents and older sisters, they were all athletes. One of my sisters went and played ran college track, and you know she great athlete. My oldest sister was probably the best athlete in the family.
Okay.
She didn't
What's her name?
Jordan. She didn't play any collegiate sports, but she did get after me on the basketball court at the house all the time. So.
Did you ever meet her one-on-one?
Yeah, definitely. When I got older, but yeah, when I was younger, yeah, she was a baller.
So were you one of those kids growing up you had to play all the sports type of thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think my dad and mom did a good job of pretty much just telling me like, hey, like, be a kid. You know, I played with a lot of kids growing up that, you know, just focused on baseball or football, like whatever it was. And, you know, I didn't really care much about one sport when I was younger. But, you know, as I got older, it started to, you know, care more about baseball and football. But yeah, you know, growing up, it was how many sports can I play? How many minutes can I spend outside every day? Like, you know, just never wanted to be inside. And yeah, you know, yeah, loved it.
What was the outside at the Chandler house like? I know you were telling me, so tell everybody the type of pets you had on the farm growing up and what that atmosphere was like outside.
Yeah, we're family. I mean, really, to my mom and sisters, like everyone loves to hunt. Like, so we like to deer hunt. And yeah, we had some horses and some pigs and some goats growing up a little bit. And then when we moved to Athens, of course, you know, got rid of those. But yeah, growing up, we had a little farm, and it was really sweet, and had a lot of fun memories on there with, you know, my sisters, and the days that it did snow in middle Georgia. You know, having some land and be able to sled and all that stuff was really fun.
I want to know about your pig Oreo, because I feel like a lot of people here in Pittsburgh can relate to having an odd pet on the farm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, yeah, Oreo, you know, like we were talking, you know, didn't have it for long, but yeah, definitely, I mean, a pig's just cool. Like, dogs and cats are, you know, domestic animals, and, you know, they're fun, but, I mean, you can put the pig in the exotic animal almost of, like, a house pet, and, yeah, you know, having that, Oreo growing up, it was cool, you know, it's a pig. It's awesome.
How often did you ride Oreo as a kid? Because I know you had to have been the kid that was like, oh, I'm definitely going to try to ride a pig.
No, definitely a couple times. We used to have a really big dog, black lab, like mutt kind of mix, and I used to try to get on his back a lot. And then I got heavier. My parents were like, hey, like, don't do that. So that's when Oreo came in the mix. And so, yeah, I definitely rode Oreo a couple times.
How did Oreo feel about that?
I don't know. She never let me know if she liked it or not.
Bubba, I know something it's just so natural just to call you Bubba.
Yeah.
But I know that's not your birth certificate name,
No.
right? The name you were given at birth.
Yeah.
Which sister was the one who started calling you that?
I don't necessarily remember that, but I do remember just always being called Bubba. You know, now of course, like some people will call me Roy just to mess with me, but like growing up my whole life, like I really can never think of a time that someone actually said my name, like my real legal name, which maybe my grandfather, he calls me R4, which is Roy the Fourth, because I am the fourth Roy technically, but yeah, that's no one really ever called me it, but yeah, I think simultaneously both my sisters were like, this is our little Bubba, and it stuck.
It stuck, certainly. But was that a weird thing for you? And, you know, I always wondered that about kids that would go to grade school and they had a name that was sort of like different than what they'd write down. And the teachers would be like Roy, and you'd have to say, well, I want to go by Bubba, and then explain it all the time. Was that weird for you as a kid?
If I remember correctly, I think my first grade teacher, Miss McElhaney, I'm 99% sure she was first grade, doing roll call, and she called me Roy, and I did not answer. And she's like, Roy, like every class seat was filled up, so like every student was there. She's like, Roy, like Roy Chandler, and I was like, oh, Chandler. I was like, oh, okay, I think that's me. She's like, why didn't you answer the first time? And I just remember saying, like, my name's not Roy. Looks at the sheet, and she's like, what is it? I'm like, Bubba. She's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the first kind of memory I had with my, some would say, exotic southern country redneck name. But
Shout out to Miss McElhaney for having to put up with you. If we had called some of your grade school teachers, what do you think they would have said about the type of student that you were in their classroom growing up?
the best. They'd probably say the fact I'm playing baseball and not building rockets is crazy, but not. I think I was a joy to be around in the classroom. There's a reason I throw baseballs for a living. We'll say that. Like, I was a good student, but I necessarily didn't. I wish I would have cared more a little bit about school. But yeah, definitely. They definitely like, yeah, he was a joy, great kid, never did anything wrong. But there's a couple times I needed to get some help, which, you know, I'm not afraid to admit that. But everybody that knows me, it's like, yeah, you know, I was very bad at math.
Me too. It's fine. That's why I talk for a living.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think of math when I'm pitching, right? But yeah, you know, it's whatever.
Hey, the art of pitching is kind of like a science, though, in itself. There's a lot that goes on there, more than what people would think.
Yeah, I was good at science.
There you go.
Yeah, I never took physics, but who wants to take physics? But I do. I mean, everything I do is almost physics, like throwing the ball, the velocity, all that crap. But yeah, you know, school is fun. But I'm glad I didn't have to do it for 4 more years.
Did you ever have a backup plan outside of sports, or were you just always like, I've got to make it work somehow then, since you really didn't think the school route was for you?
Nah, I think I would have locked in and, you know, maybe had a little bit better of a school run. But my dad, he builds houses, and you know, going to work with him growing up, like it was always something I was fascinated in. You know, it's a project, like it takes months to build it, and you know, you start from scratch on a little blueprint, and then, you know, a couple months later there's a nice house and with a lot of stuff in it and a lot of just tiny details, and like I always kind of thought that was cool. You know, he built houses, my granddad built houses, and yeah, that was probably it. I liked it, I enjoyed it, know a lot about it, so yeah.
I know playing baseball a lot in the summer, you probably didn't have time, but did you ever have a side job, or sort of sometimes have to go to work with them and they put you to work?
A little bit. My grandmother and grandpa, they owned a barbecue restaurant. So growing up, I was a busboy for them. Yeah, that was really fun. But yeah, when I got a little older, started, you know, a little stronger, I'd go to the workshop with my dad and move bales of, you know, straw and spread it out, clean up the house, all the work that no one really wants to do.
Yep,
was my job.
that was your job.
And he paid me with dinner at night, you know, putting food on the table. But yeah, that was fun.
What's your grandparents' restaurant called, and what was your favorite thing to get when you went there?
It was called Andy's Barbecue.
Okay.
It was right as you got to Milledgeville, Georgia, which There's a nice lake. There's 2 universities there. It's a good little spot. It's closed now, unfortunately, but I mean, couldn't go wrong with barbecue sandwich. The corn poppers were the best thing ever, and since they closed it down 7 years ago, I think, I have yet to have a corn popper that is, 1, good, and 2, really just good. Like, not remotely close to how good that theirs were, but yeah, I've been chasing, say, that high since they closed it down. To
the high of a good corn popper.
Find a good corn popper wherever I'm at.
All right, well, I think we should make that a mission in your Major League Baseball career.
Yeah.
When we go to different places that should have good barbecue, we're going to find some good corn poppers.
Like Kansas City, St. Louis, didn't get to have any barbecue in St. Louis, like away from the field, which sucked. I wanted to, but yeah, maybe one day.
Texas, maybe somewhere. I don't know. We're going to find you some good corn poppers, Bubba.
I hope so.
But when you were talking about building houses, I think it's pretty interesting, and it's such a full circle moment for fans to know that Joey Bart grew up in a house that your granddad built.
Yep.
He also remembers going to your granddad's house and fishing out of his pond in the back. It is so crazy to know that your worlds are colliding now at the highest level of a professional sport.
Yep, it's pretty cool. I really haven't known Joey my whole life. He was, a little older than me, but I do remember times fishing with him when I was very young at my grandfather's place, him and his brother. And I always remember when Joey got drafted, I think in 18 or something, like whatever year it was, 2 overall, my granddad showed me a picture that he took of Joey fishing and then me, like, kind of in the distance. Like, we're both fishing in their pond. I thought it was really cool. That happened. And he played for the Giants. A couple years later, he's now with us. I'm in the big leagues with him. Like, it's something that we talk about kind of regularly. It's like just how cool, how little the world is. And it's making my granddad's year for sure.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet for him.
What was his reaction? Because I remember you telling me in spring training, like, if we get that moment at the big league level where Joey catches me in a game, your granddad might cry.
Oh, yeah.
So what was his reaction?
He did. Definitely in the first start, my granddad, I didn't talk to him, but I'm assuming he's probably mad that I didn't pitch too well. But
You're not going to ask him about that?
No, but he watched the game, and I think on the broadcast, maybe y'all said something about me and Joey knowing each other. His name was mentioned, and my dad told me that he did shed some tears.
Aww.
And he said he was just high on life and just the whole day just ecstatic. Who cares that I gave up a lot of runs and lost the game? Like, that made his world. That 2 kids that he raised in a way, just being on a big stage together with each other is just that made his life right there, and it was pretty sweet to hear that.
Well, it's good then. So you can look back on that as a memory you want to forget in terms of the performance, but you took that one big memory away from it, right?
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it was a tough day, but good day for him,
Well, I know your granddad, your dad, your whole family probably remembers so much about you and Joey both, like you were saying, growing up. But what is your earliest memory picking up a baseball?
Putnam County T-ball fields. There's a kid hitting, and he was a couple years older than me, but I remember him. His name was Cameron Johnson, and he was mashing baseballs, mashing. I was probably like 6, maybe, and like he was like 10 or 11, just mashing. And I was like, dude, like this is crazy. Anyway, home run ball, caught it, started playing catch with my friends, and that's the first memory I have playing baseball.
Cameron Johnson's home run ball landed in your glove.
No, I did not catch it.
Okay,
no.
you just got the home run ball.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I mean, you're 6 years old. You have no idea what's going on. But yeah, I do remember that. And yeah, I think I played T-ball or whatever that year. And then I don't remember 7. And then when I was 8, we started playing like a little travel ball. So we played like 2 tournaments. And I have a picture. I don't remember it, but I have a picture of me playing second base and a picture of my dad and granddad after we won a tournament. we may have not won. Everybody gets a trophy, right? But yeah, I do remember, all that.
Well, it sounds better if you won.
Yeah.
We'll just say you won,
Yeah, we
right?
won.
Who's there to prove it wrong? When did you start taking it really seriously, though, let's say? Because, I mean, at that age, you're just falling in love with it. You want a baseball in your hand. You think it's cool. But when do you start thinking, hey, I could maybe be really good at this?
My dad's going to think otherwise because I was always super competitive. But, I didn't necessarily care about, baseball. I like baseball a lot, but, when you're 12 years old, you want to play, go to the Braves games growing up, where I live. You wanted to be there, right? You wanted to play on that field, but you kind of never thought it was possible. And so I didn't necessarily care about that. It was more of just playing and having fun with my friends. And then, as the years went on, started to get better, started playing with kids that were going to colleges already. And I was like, okay, I'm as good as this guy and he's going to UGA. And I'm like, okay, I think I can do that as well. So I was probably, 13 or 14, and then, after my 14 year, I got hurt. And, after that, I was like, all right, I'm a very competitive kid, hardworking, am I going to be as good as I was, before? Maybe not, I'm having a major surgery, but, after that, it was okay, what else am I good at? I'm a great football player. Whether it's throwing or, running, I run fast, I hit hard, could it be a football, could it be basketball? I still play basketball, kind of threw baseball out the window a little bit of because my arm injury is shoot, I don't know what's going to happen, my surgeon was dude, usually this is performed in older people, and yeah, so it was, kind of a weird thing, but yeah, came back really strong, grew in that point, and yeah, after my surgery, about 6 months into it, started to feel a little better. And then when I got back throwing, balls coming out really good. And I was like, okay, this is nice. My high school coaches were like, this is nice.
Yeah, would they inject some turbo in there while they're at it?
Looking good, And then came back for my sophomore year and, really, I was throwing hard. And I was like, okay, this is nice. Got stronger, put on some weight. Junior year, senior year. Now I'm here. So it's yeah, but I didn't really care about it. Being here now when I was, 12, 13, 14 years old. And then really my junior summer going into senior year was started to get real. It was okay, I could do this. Let's put all of our eggs in this basket. And made it.
You were originally committed to Georgia, though, correct? Then you flip. You want to go to Clemson to play football and baseball. At Georgia, it was just going to be baseball, though. What went into that decision, and then ultimately the decision to flip?
Yeah, we I don't think I took a varsity snap until my junior. I think my first varsity snap was junior year. So I didn't really play. I didn't have any film out there for football. I played a little bit of JV, but not a lot, just because of the way the numbers worked with quarterbacks. There wasn't many quarterbacks. So if one guy got hurt, I get elevated to backup or even the starter. So didn't play a whole lot of JV games my freshman and sophomore year, and so I didn't have any film. And so no college is going to recruit a guy that has no film, and I wasn't the biggest guy, so you couldn't recruit me off that. And then, yeah, junior year, started being the starter, played well, got offers, and yeah, I committed to Georgia going into my junior year for baseball. And yeah, it was kind of I didn't think I was going to play football. I knew football was free in college. You got a scholarship. Baseball wasn't. So that was in the back of my head. And my dad was like, hey, I would get a scholarship. I'd try to get a football scholarship. It's, if it's what you want to do, it's what you want to do. But, at the same time, it's free college. And that's what I was kind of bought into at first. I was all right, I'm going to get free college. And yeah, that was, after the season, or maybe, last couple weeks of the season, Troy University offered me a scholarship to play football. And that was the first offer. And I was like, oh, wow, okay,
I can do this.
Yeah, a mid-major school. This is a good school. Okay, what type of caliber quarterback am I? Am I a mid-major or am I a Power 5 quarterback? Over time, more offers started to come in. Some more film got out there. COVID happened, and so Coach Sweeney always talks about, like, if COVID probably wouldn't have happened, he may not have saw it. Like, there was a lot more time to just be like, all right, like, there's nothing going on right now. Let's sit and watch some film. And Coach Kahn, which is DB coach at Clemson, he had some family members that went to my high school from my area. And, yeah, my name got put on his desk. And Coach Sweeney offered me, then Lane Kiffin, and, like, a bunch of other schools started, coming in. And, I was like, okay, this is real. Like, I have an opportunity. And at that point, it was like, all right, what do I want to do? And, yeah, it was kind of a tough decision my senior year, deciding what I wanted to do. But, yeah, ultimately committed to Clemson to do both,
Did multiple schools, were they coming in offering you for both? Or was that sort of a deciding factor because Clemson was going to allow you to do that?
Both. So, most of them. Some of them were, I can't really remember, but I remember kind of my last two schools I was really bought into were Ole Miss and Clemson. Both are going to let me do both. Both have great baseball programs and, of course, great football programs. And, yeah, but there's a bunch of schools that were, hey, like, if you want to play baseball, you're more than welcome to. There was a couple that were like, this is strictly for football, which, okay, I'm not going to complain about that. But those schools really weren't on my radar too much. Kind of wanted to stay close to home. Georgia really didn't do a whole lot of recruiting with me. They had a quarterback commit in the 21 class who was a stud, who, he's retired now, but, he's a 5-star. Brock Vandegrift went to Georgia, went to Kentucky, like, had a great college career. But, yeah, so they didn't do a whole lot of recruiting. But, yeah, kind of bittersweet that I couldn't go to Georgia. Like, I love Georgia. A lot of my best friends went there. The old baseball coach at UGA, me and his son are, very close friends and hang out with him a lot, in the off season. And, yeah, so it was kind of sucked when I had to decommit, but it was the right thing I had to do for me, and it ultimately, I want to say, ended up working. Like, I didn't go to college, but I made a lot of good friends, and I still talk to some coaches at Clemson, on both sides, baseball and football, and yeah, it's really cool. Like, I kind of wish I could have had it in Georgia. I mean, I live there. Like, it's awesome. Like, the way Georgia reacts to Saturdays and football is out of this world. It's awesome. It's really cool. But Clemson was as good as it gets, and yeah. So
when you said though you didn't go to college, but you did go in the summer for a session with the football team before you got drafted and decided to go pro. So how hard do you think it actually would have been after you already just got maybe a little taste of what it was to actually play quarterback at a Division I level and then also be playing baseball? And you're seeing all the information in the playbook. Like, do you think it would have been really hard? What was that like?
I think one thing I was really good at, whether it was high school or, a little bit of Clemson, like, picking up a playbook is something that comes natural. So the playbook was easy. I didn't get a lot of the installs in, but, all that was stuff thrown at me, I knew what to do, all that stuff. Now, my ego is going to tell me I could have played and dominated, right? And I think I could have, but the thing that really got me, and, just like how I'll never talk bad on a Division I athlete. Like, I'll never, definitely football. Like, if you can make it through, I don't even want to say fall camp, because fall camp's terrible. Never experienced it, but just all the, all my buddies that just talk about it, guys who are ruthless, guys who are the best competitors in the world, and it's terrible. It's like, if you can get through that, you're good. Like, even summer, like Clemson had summer phase 1 and 2. Like, it's hard. It's hot. You're outside all day. You're running. You're going there doing a 2-hour lift. You got meetings on top of school. Like, it's just so hard. And like, you see 90 guys on Saturdays suited up. It's just like, those 90 guys made it through that. It's like, I can't say a bad word about them. Like, it's awesome. Like, and that's all college sports, but the physicality in football is just through the roof. And yeah, I don't want to say like when I was there, like all the running kind of pissed me off. Yeah. But it's like I'm not a running type of guy. But yeah, definitely like it gets you really close to your guys. I mean, you're out there. I've never thrown up during a lift or a run until I got there.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. it was like, it wasn't the first one. I held it in, I think the second day, we got done with the run. We all run into to start our lift, and I just kept going straight to the bathroom. A couple guys were in there, which made me feel better, but right about 4 times, I'm just like, I don't know about this. Is day 2, and I'm like, man, I'm not gonna tap out, but I'm definitely gonna go play baseball.
Yep.
And like, I don't like this sucks. And then about a week went by, got used to it, and I'm just like, okay, like, no. On day 2, the decision was easy. I was going to play baseball. On day 7, I was torn. I remember talking to my agent, talking to my parents, like, I have no idea what to do. Like, this is some of the most fun I've ever had playing a sport, but I have the opportunity to do a lifelong dream, pretty much, like what I want to do. And it got easier as the day kind of came. Like, I remember looking forward so much to the draft and not really looking forward so much to the next practice, the next team run. Like, and I think once that happened, it was like, okay, like, I know where my heart is, and it made it pretty easy to sign here. So.
Well, now that you're here, I mean, it's taken a while to get here.
Yeah.
It's been a process.
Yeah.
I know you've expressed that you had some frustrations in AAA this year. You were mad at yourself at points, feel like you were beating yourself a lot of the time. I mean, what was this journey like this year for you when you wanted it so bad coming out of spring training and you knew you were going to have to wait just a bit longer?
Yeah, I think something I've never really, I won't say had, is patience. I think, in high school, like I said, I played all sports. So, it would go football, straight to basketball, straight to baseball. So, and I was fortunate enough, I never got hurt. I had my surgery freshman year, but I was able to play football, I was able to play basketball, and then played a little bit of baseball. And then when football season rolled around, I was okay I couldn't really throw, but I could run, I could hit, I could do all that stuff. Basketball, same thing. I could shoot a little bit, I had to shoot left-handed, this extension on my elbow, but I could do everything. So I never really had to wait to not play, But when I got here, I had good success early. I've had success in my minor league career. And then when I got to AAA last year, it was the same thing. Didn't skip a beat. And then when I got, sent to AAA, I was like, all right, I'm going to show them they shouldn't have done it, right? The first 2 months, I was doing that. And, didn't move. Who was I mad at? At them? No. Me, whatever. Just kind of looking at someone to, put the blame on, rather than just saying hey, I can go out there every 5 days, help my team win in AAA, and set myself up to get called up whenever I do. I want to be ready. And I think I did a really bad job of being patient in that process. Of I had the worst month and a half of baseball that I say I may ever have in my life. You never know, but I mean, just the mental grind and the physical grind, it was, I felt so good physically. And I'd go out there just, with fake confidence, which is something you can't have. And, because I've had all the success at this level before, what has changed? It was just the mentality. I was looking for people to blame and not putting it on myself. And once you do that, you're screwed. And I think I'm glad I failed. I'm glad that I struggled bad. I think it only, I think it helped me for this, this end of this year, but I think it's going to help me for, the rest of my career. And because I know what I got to do to get out of it. And it's as simple as, maybe taking a day off, not going to the field, on and off day, just whatever it is. And I think, I'm glad I struggled. Now I'm in the big leagues. I look back oh yeah, that struggle was worth it. But in the moment, it was a lot of not being patient and not seeing the bigger picture, because there is one. I played well enough to guys up here go, hey, he can help us. And yeah, not really seeing that in the moment was very tough for me, but something that I'll never forget, and I learned and built off of. So.
When you got to finally have that moment of a debut then, I know you probably just blacked out that entire day.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so much that has built up to finally get to that point. But when you think about just a couple of weeks you've had in the big leagues, have you had time to really soak in how special it is and how good it feels to finally be here in that day in itself and what it meant?
Yeah, definitely. My debut, It was awesome. I was just really mad like that. I was in the bullpen just trying to see how mad I could get myself, because the little time I've had out of the bullpen, that has worked. Just how angry can I get? And then I got really angry, and then I kind of blacked out the first inning. Don't remember it too well, but the debut is special. I mean, I pitched well. We got a win, and got to share it with some guys that I'd kind of come up with through the minor leagues. Henry Davis, another one. I got drafted with him. I lived with him. We've butted heads. We hugged each other. It's the bond me and him have throughout the years. It's special. It's really cool, and for him to catch me in the big leagues for my debut is awesome. And it's something that we have talked about before, and it's something that we want to continue to happen. Of be up here together, winning games, trying to bring glory back to Pittsburgh. And yeah, but the big leagues is sick. Fenway Park. It's Fenway Park. It's a really cool place. Got to go there for 3 days, and it's like, wow, this is awesome. Like, this is stuff that you dream of, and especially when you're in the minor leagues, you're playing in front of 100 people. You're like, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to give up a homer and get booed. Like, little stuff like that. Like, I can't. Like, in St. Louis, I struck Wilson Contreras or whatever Contreras out, and the stadium booed, and I was like that's awesome. Like, it's little stuff like that. You're just like, that is that's Major League Baseball, and that's something that you don't get in the minor leagues, you don't get in high school, college, or it's like this is sweet. This is it. Like, now it's about staying here, and now it's about winning, and getting after it. And all I want to do is party in the clubhouse. Like, I don't really care if I pitch bad. If the team comes out with a win, I'm gonna be the happiest guy in the locker room.
I don't think many people look forward to being booed, but that might be a first.
No,
looking forward to all of it, though.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying. It's such a cool part of it all. And when you look at the people you're surrounded by, like Henry Davis, and then you look at all the young guys that you're so close with, what's been the most special part about getting to share this with all of them, and just when you look at your pitching group as a whole, just the potential you guys have in the big leagues to be one of the, honestly, when everybody looks at it, it's the best.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a testament to everyone on the pitching side throughout the organization. I think every pitching coach I've had, from the FCL all the way to the big leagues, like, it's hard to say bad stuff about them, and it's hard to find bad stuff about them. Like, whether it's from the person they are or the coach they are, like, they know when to put their foot on the pedal, and they know when to put their foot on the brake. Like, okay, like, he needs to hear something today. Like, okay, we need to let him just be himself for this next week. Like, and you can't. That's hard to find. And when you find, what 4 or 5 levels of that, like, it's special, and it's awesome. Of just, and everybody else is getting that same treatment of doesn't matter. For me, I was a high pick. Got some money, like, and then the guys who weren't a high pick, who didn't get a lot of money, like, treated the same, and that's special. And like, it makes you feel like every guy's on the same playing field. And that's some stories you've heard in professional baseball, like, that's not the case. And it's stuff like that we have guys that weren't first rounders, second rounders, third rounders, that are now in the big leagues, that are now on the cusp of the big leagues, knocking on the door, and it's special. And I think our pitching group up here is nasty, and it's great. The guys in AAA, the guys in AA that I've played with, there's even more guys, and it's just like, wow, like, we have a surplus of these guys that are just ultra high competitors and know how their stuff plays, and they want to win, and they don't care whether they're the best pitcher in baseball or the worst pitcher in baseball. As long as they're contributing to help a team win, that's all they ask for, and it's really cool to see.
You're a guy who's also a little bit ambidextrous.
Yeah.
I know you've thrown
Oh, yeah.
with that left arm.
Oh, yeah.
You told me a perfect game in high school.
No, I threw one inning, and I had 3 strikeouts.
Okay.
Perfect game.
Perfect
Shoot.
inning. I was going to say,
inning, yeah.
perfect game.
Perfect game.
Perfect inning, left-handed.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Here for it.
Yeah.
Are you ever tempted when a switch hitter comes in the box just to kind of mess with them and switch up the glove a little bit?
In Indy, I was throwing a lot left-handed. The day after I pitched, I would stay away from throwing, with my right arm, and I would move my body with my left arm and just do a bunch of stuff with my left arm. And I was starting to really get the feel back of what it's supposed to feel like. And there's a problem. Throwing strikes is hard enough with your dominant arm. I don't know, especially a big league zone. I don't know if I could sniff a strike, but it would be impressive. I can throw it hard.
Yeah. Hank Williams Jr. family tradition.
Yeah.
Why is that the walkout song?
I used it once last year and I think I had a no-hitter in like the 6th, maybe the 7th. And that's kind of, I like the song, I don't know if you ever been to downtown Athens, but they'll play that song in a couple bars and it's a good little vibe. And yeah, it's just it's Hank, man. It's Hank Jr. He's a good musician. And yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you one thing, it's gonna have to get changed. It's got some runs in it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a good song.
I don't know if a Hank will let you down twice.
No, Hank's got multiple other songs, so we can use one of those. But
Bubba, last question for you. Did you enjoy the steak on a stone?
I did.
Does it pass the Georgia Southern steak test?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It kind of freaked me out a little bit. But it's hot.
It's an experience, right?
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time as always. Best of luck the rest of the season. It's a pleasure having you in Pittsburgh.
Thank you.